Welcome to episode 5 of Lockdown TV. It's been a busy week at Lockdown HQ, and as you'll see, there's been creativity breaking out all over the place. Viva la revolution! We've got a packed show with some great poetry, a super knitted animation, a World War II themed local history revelation from Mark Starte, Ebo's in the director's chair with his favourite films, more photo advice, and Alfie's music section with some top tunes from Lee McDonald and the Rainbow Gang. There's that and much, much more, so stay tuned. Now, I have to tell you that episode 4 of Lockdown TV caused quite a stir. If you didn't see it, this is what the fuss was all about. Have you seen the celebrities singing about the hard times we're facing while sipping champagne in their beachside mansions? I mean, Sam Smith, have a word with yourself. What are you doing? Crying on the steps of your £12 million manor house? You're a hero to some people around here. Please get a grip. Or maybe it was all fake news and he was crying because he stubbed his toe. Who knows? Since then, I've been bombarded with press and media journalists whipping up a frenzy. We've had calls from the BBC, the New York Times, the Peckham Gazette and Gardener's Weekly. Now, you might love Sam Smith, or you might think he sounds a little bit like a squeaky toy. That's what is so good about freedom. We're each entitled to our own opinion. When it comes to Sam Smith, I have to say I have nothing against the fella. It's always good to see a local lad make good. But as you can see, his tweets have been a little on the provocative side. Sam, you know where you can stick your injunctions. You'll never silence Lockdown TV. We are the voice of the people. Well, the voice of me and Alfie. And of course, our overlord, Sir Roy Mason. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. It's time for Poetry Corner. Backed by popular demand, here's Amelie Wasty with another fabulous poem.
As I walked into the ruins of what was a mighty city, I remembered life's lost in their entertainment that was not so pretty. Innocent men and animals entered through these wooden doors, most would be killed or ripped apart by awaiting eager claws. The sand would soak up their blood to be forgotten forever. You would wonder when the killing would stop, but that would be never. A man's life in the emperor's hand, all depending on the thumb up or down, and if you battled long and hard enough, you'd win the gladiatorial crown. The prize that everyone wanted, the prize to be free. Freedom called as you battled, and soon everyone would see if you were a hero or failure. Which would it be? The ghosts of the past danced in the arena of death. Not a soul knew if in this fight he would take his final breath. Slaves and enemies fought fury to fury each day. Death or glory was what the Romans used to say. Ship battles took place demonstrating the Romans' glory, and sometimes executions which were far more gory. You sat in order of importance, senators at the bottom and women at the top of it all. Little did they know that their mighty city would one day fall. As I walked through the ruins, I imagine how life would be. Thank goodness I live in an era where everyone is free. But wouldn't the gladiatorial games be a terrifying sight to see?
Here's a poem by someone who's so popular they ought to build a statue of her. It's Grace Strickland with Tiger is Sorry.
Tiger is sorry. My cat ate a snake. It was a mistake. She wants to say sorry for the life she took. But who knows, she may not mean sorry, now she's a crook. Tiger is a tiger, what do you expect? From a cat called Tiger, with a snake inside her. My cat ate a snake. She may not be sorry, but who knows, she may have asked it. I suppose.
Wasn't that great? Thanks, guys. Okay, let's take another visit to the bookshelf. Watcher, I just found a decent spot at my favourite tree, just enjoying one of my favourite books, John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath. It's probably the greatest book I've ever read. It's the story of the Joad family, who like many others live in dire poverty in Dust Bowl America. ventured in search of the promised land. It's both heartbreaking and heartwarming, because even though it's desperately sad in places, it's an incredible tribute to the human spirit, full of endurance and dignity. It's a tale of genuine sacrifice and kindness, something that will resonate with everyone when lockdown is finally lifted and we're faced with some incredible challenges. Here's a new feature inspired by RAB teacher Mr. Boddington. Fruitellers or Starburst? Which of these has the most sugar? Answers at the end of the show. Lockdown TV are proud to announce that we have secured exclusive rights for the premiere of the knitted story of a caped crusader in Jean Horton's adventure.
I've always wanted to jump into a pie. Ow, 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 ow. It's hot. Ow, ow, ow. Need water. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Thanks, Jean. Remember to send your animations in to info@creativewarden.co.uk. Now it's birthday time. Love the music? It's Wipeout, performed by our good friends at Duology. Check out their fab song on episode 2 of Lockdown TV. Now, happy birthday to Izzy Reader, pictured here with her mum. Izzy is an award-winning writer and an all-round class act, so best wishes to you on your 17th. Happy birthday to Sophie Blois, who's also 17, pictured here with her parents. Sophie and her good friend Sarah Wearsing, regulars at our Writers' Room sessions held here at Fairycroft House on Wednesday evenings, have created an alternative Harry Potter novel. Check out Creative Warden's website for the first chapter.
You're watching Lockdown TV.
Right, well, we've been out and about this week and found some people enjoying themselves in the sunshine. Here's more fun with Alfie's challenge, featuring his equally gifted sister, Ellie. Can you guess the intros? Answers at the end of the show.
Ba-dum-bum-bum. 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 Bum 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 ba 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 bum ka bum ka bum ka bum ka bum 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 ba 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 bum bum ba bum bum ba bum.
These are the things that we think about, that we shout till we're red in the face about. The ones in the know tell the ones in the know, and it never gets out. They will write it in the paper, so we write it on the wall. But these casual remarks, will they carry on and on? People talking to the telly, people talking to the wall. And these wedding party puns, oh they are our downfall. Nip it in the bud, son. Get it while you're young, son, before the hatred has won. Nip it in the bud, son.
I've worked in various areas of the film and television industry, most notably on feature films like Harry Potter and Bourne Ultimatum. I was recently asked to shed some light on some of my experiences. So, here's a look at a BBC advert I worked on for the World Cup. After the ideas have been fleshed out on paper and a script is ready, it's time for the storyboard artist to get busy. Making TV adverts is an expensive game. Some companies can spend over £1 million on an advertising campaign. The storyboard is essential in working out that everything fits before you go and shoot the footage. Even a few seconds extra can ramp up the fees if visual effects is involved, so you don't want to waste a second. Now, things don't always go to plan, and when making this World Cup ad, the BBC had already shot England striker Wayne Rooney. Then, with mere weeks before the tournament was due to start, Wayne Rooney was injured. The Mill, the company I was working for, a great place to work by the way, had a lot of fun there. Well, anyway, they had to choose between Liverpool's Steven Gerrard and Chelsea's magical midfielder Frank Lampard. Being a dyed-in-the-wool Blues fan, I'm happy to say they chose Lampard. And so I attended the green screen shoot where he basically stood in his kit on a green platform in front of a green screen. And it would be my job to composite all the crowds, flags and stadium into the background.
That's diabolical defending. They'll have to do better with a predator like that up front.
And Henri has set this tournament alight.
The flags were made by me filming them in my back garden.
The stadium has really come alive now. One of the greatest. The man is a giant. Oh, he nearly broke the crossbar with that one.
Said he couldn't have hit a cow's backside with a bat.
In another scene, we added a cartoon tiger. All the elements had to be composited in to make it look like a real football stadium. The animator rendered out all the various passes which were used to affect the lighting and colour of the tiger.
Whoa, that tackle's left him totally exposed.
That's diabolical defending. They'll have to do better with a predator like that up front.
And Henri has set this tournament alight.
On the Lampard shop, I was even able to put the names of my son and some of my nephews around the advertising hoarding. Here's the final advert.
That's diabolical defending. They'll have to do better with a predator like that up front.
Langsung kau nyam dia, Bon.
Henry has set this tournament alight.
フランスチームは燃えてるぜ
Incredible. The stadium's really come alive now.
Стадион наполняется жизнью.
He's a colossus. Oh, he nearly broke the crossbar with that one.
What did he say? Said he couldn't have hit a cow's backside with a banjo.
The eyes of the world are on this incredible play.
Und die ganze Welt schaut auf ihn.
The World Cup. Great stories begin on the BBC.
History now. Mark Starte has a... Oh, hell. Alfie, the lights are gone again. You did put the 50p in the machine today, didn't you? I mean, be honest with me now. You didn't nip up the shop and buy a curly whirly instead, did you?
Of course not, Paul, although you do know I love a curly whirly. It's funny though, because I was wondering if the funding had come in. Because there's a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce out in the Faircroft car park.
No, I came on a push bike. Hang on. Sam Smith is here. I can't believe it. I didn't choose the Scuck's life. The Scuck's life chose me. Look at the state of me. Well, the show must go on, as they say. History now. Mark Starte has a timely story concerning local war efforts.
Hello. This week's interesting fact is to do with Audley End House, just outside Saffron Walden. And it is this. Did you know that during the Second World War, Audley End House and Grounds was a secret training centre for Polish agents? Between 1941 and 1945, 527 Polish agents were trained there. They were trained in all aspects of guerrilla warfare, ready for them to be parachuted into occupied Europe. The training was very arduous and very tough, and the pass rate was low. But these brave men and women played a great part in the war effort. And there is a memorial to them at Audley End House. So when lockdown is over and you can access the Audley End House grounds again, do look out for the Polish memorial. It is just adjacent to the driveway as you come in to the house.
Social media is awash with judgmental people constantly telling other people what to do. Some of these crazy fools are even calling for an extension to the lockdown and on all damage that will do to vast swathes of people in our country who are finding themselves unemployed, unable to pay their bills and buy food. Please don't join in on the catcalling and witch hunts. Let's put love at the top of our agenda and spend a little every day on friends and strangers alike. And Boris, I know he watches Lockdown TV religiously. Boris, if you're watching this, pull your finger out and give us back our freedom. Now, here's another person you don't want to listen to.
Hello, Phyllis Crotchet here again. I've got something to tell you.
It's really important, so listen up. I think I might have found a cure. Very good. Anyway, let me tell you how it happened. I was waiting at the queue at Tesco, minding my own business, just listening to that couple behind me, gossiping. Anyway, I coughed. Oh my word. The whole place went silent, started staring at me. Just at that moment, I saw Sarah the Lip. She came walking by in the queue. She said to me, "You've got the corona, haven't you?" I was like, oh my God. Anyway, I was a bit scared. In fact, I was terrified. And you know, I'm getting on a bit. I'm the wrong kind of 30 now. Anyway, she said, while you're in Tesco, you should get some of that amber liquid. You know, that Corona. So, I did just that. I didn't just get one bottle. Well, I didn't just get one. I got the whole box. I've been on it all week. It's doing me right, and it is. It's sorted out me cough. I haven't got a sore throat anymore. God blimey, I haven't got some kind of a headache. Anyway, another thing, I can't get me blue rinse anywhere. I've got none in Tesco's, none in Waitrose.
Well, I've got only one thing to say to that. Bore off! Film now. I watched an old favourite this week. The brilliant Stand By Me, starring River Phoenix, where four boys go off on a camping adventure that marks their coming of age.
You're just a kid, Gordy. Oh, gee, thanks, Dad. Wish the hell I was your dad. You wouldn't be going around talking about taking these stupid shop courses if I was. It's like God gave you something, man. All those stories that you can make up. And he said, this is what we got for you, kid. Try not to lose it. But kids lose everything unless there's someone there to look out for them. And if your parents are too f***ed up to do it, then maybe I should.
Now it's time for Ethan, or as he's more commonly known, Ebo, to reveal his top 3 movies.
Coming in at number 3 is Kung Fu Panda. It is one of the most well animated films I've ever seen. It comes down to the minute details of the fur reflecting off the sun in any character in the film, and it's so detailed that you almost feel like you're in it, and it's so immersive. It's just, and the storyline is so funny. It's one of those films that you cannot not laugh at it.
Behold the ancient styles of Kung Fu. Monkey. Crane. Mantis. Viper. Tiger.
Don't tell Monkey.
Everybody was
Jack Black.
Go ahead, Panda. Show us what you can do.
Okay, yeah, I just ate. So I'm still digesting, so my Kung Fu might not be as good as later on.
DreamWorks Kung Fu Panda.
How's that? So coming in at number 2 is the Lord of the Rings / The Hobbit trilogies. They go down to the score as well. The music in those films, absolutely insane. So individual. Every time you hear it, you know exactly where it's from. It just brings you back to the memories of watching it the first time and growing up on these films. And they're proper nostalgia every time you go back to them. And you can keep rewatching them whenever you want to, because they're just that good. Every time you see a new detail you didn't see before.
Here, Mr. Bilbo, where are you off to? I'm going on an adventure.
Mithrandir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it is because I'm afraid. And it gives me courage.
So this is your purpose, to enter the mountain?
What of it?
There are some who would not deem it wise.
A dark path has found a way back into the world.
Coming in at first, definitely has to be the Harry Potter series and the whole world around it. There's so many details that they don't even explain that you can just see, and you can get the knowledge from J.K. Rowling and all of the stuff online, and it's just it's such a detailed and well developed story, and you get to know everything about the background. It's so good, and it really immerses me every time, and I can watch that on loop for days. I can watch the 1st to the 7th 7 times within a week, and I will be happy.
There's a storm coming, Harry. Just like last time.
The Ministry of Magic is pleased to announce the appointment of Dolores Jane Umbridge as High Inquisitor to address the falling standards at Hogwarts School.
Things at Hogwarts are far worse than I feared.
Look at me!
But that's it for my list. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys are enjoying Lockdown TV.
Thanks, Ebo. Remember, you could feature your top 3 film faves on Lockdown TV. Just send in your video. What are you waiting for? info@creativewalden.co.uk. Oh, I wonder who could be calling. Hello?
Hi, is that Paul Bellany of Lockdown TV? It's Joanna Eden here.
It's the singer, Joanna Eden. Lovely to hear from you. So what have you been up to, Joe?
Yes, I've been keeping really busy in lockdown. Mostly I've been on the phone, you know, this very good phone, and mostly I've been waking up really late and having really long lie-ins. Oh, and yeah, I've been doing a request show on Facebook Live every Friday night. So if anybody wants to come, I think I'll do one next week, Friday night at 8 o'clock. So come and have a listen. But there's something really important I wanted to ask you, Paul.
Okay.
What's on your desk?
We have got a Motorhead hat. We've got an old-fashioned football from the 1950s, which they used to play and kick about at Ferrycroft. Got our COVID 1984 book. We've got this character who's seen better days. RAB t-shirt there. We've got the pendant from the European Cup final in which Frank Lampard played in. And on the day, as you've watched the making of the BBC World Cup advert, on the day that we did it and met Frank Lampard, he kindly signed this to my son, to Richard. That's why we're champions. Good luck, Frank Lampard. A very lovely guy. We've also got our Grapes of Wrath book, best book in the world. And last but certainly not least, Joe Eden's Truth Tree CD, which if you haven't got, I very much suggest you should. It's a fantastic album. I love Oh My God and Hello You, they're my favourite ones. And that's what we got on our table this week. We'll see what's on there next week. Check out the opening credits on this episode of Martin's Photo Tips. This guy really knows how to take a photo or two.
Good afternoon. My name is Martin. I'm a photographer for Mart's Arts Photography. I'm a specialist music photographer and a bit of nature photography on the side. I am the resident photographer for Ferrycroft House, from which I'm filming right now. Editing. Now there are a number of faults when it comes to editing. Professional wedding photographers, landscape photographers, and many professional photographers will spend hours and hours and hours on Photoshop per photo, and quite rightly so. Certain forms of photography leads to this situation, but don't fear, you do not have to go down that route if you don't want to. I've been working in the industry 10 years, I don't own Photoshop. I don't particularly worry about using Photoshop.
I personally think, and this is only personal and just as a guide, I believe that if a photo isn't there in the first place, then it's no use to me. I'm not afraid to crop an image, and in music photography situations, then maybe darken it and just lower the light up. But you can do that on very basic art packages. You don't need Photoshop. Don't let me get it wrong. If you want to use Photoshop, there is absolutely nothing wrong with using Photoshop. It's all to do with your own creative heart. What you see in your head, how you want that image. Don't let anybody have a go at you for manipulating an image. It's your art. It's up to you. You do what you want. Don't worry about what negative people say. Listen to positive people. Listen to other academics and artists. Do not follow somebody else's vision. You'll know, you'll get good. I believe it. It's all to do with, I'm afraid to say it again, trial and error and practice. By all means, spend hours editing photographs. I do, pure and simply because I take thousands in one night. It is a very, very important part of photography. The actual shoot of photographs may take me 3 hours in a night and then take me the entire day the next day without me actually photoshopping anything. That is a fact of photography, especially digital photography.
Ba-dum-bum-bum. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Bum 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 ba 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 bum bum ba bum bum ba bum.
Short and sweet now. Did you guess right? It was actually Starburst with 9 cubes of sugar against Frutella's 4.5. Bearing in mind you're recommended not to exceed 7 cubes a day if you're 11 and over. It's difficult because sugar is in almost all processed foods from cereal to bread, but you can help yourself and the NHS by trying to stay healthy. If you ever get the chance to see Jamie Oliver's Sugar Rush film, you should watch it. It's a real eye-opener. Now it's time to visit Alfie in the studio.
How you doing, guys? I cannot wait for you singers, drummers, guitarists and musical ragamuffins to come and look and play in the new Ferrycroft House studio. Until that time, here's Tim Atkinson on A Hard Rock Life. This week, he's talking about life on the road as a professional musician.
He's performed in front of over 2 million people, played in top 10 hit records, worked with a whole spectrum of professional musicians, including Grammy winners, in a career lasting over 20 years. His name is Tim Atkinson, and this is It's a Hard Rock Life.
Welcome to edition 2 of It's a Hard Rock Life with me, Tim Atkinson. And today I'm going to be talking about touring and life on the road. So first of all, I hope everyone's still staying safe and well. But here we go. So life on the road. Obviously there's not a lot of that going on at the moment because of this pandemic. But let me talk to you a little bit about what it really is like to spend time on a tour bus, playing shows every night. It sounds really glamorous, but let me assure you it isn't. It's great fun, don't get me wrong, but there are hours and hours and hours in the day of sitting about, travelling, not really seeing where you're going, not really remembering where you are. So let's have a look. Those of you who have gone on a school trip,
you're all very excited, you get on the coach and you may be going to France or somewhere in England, and you've got a long coach journey and you're all laughing around with your mates. But by the time you finally get to your destination, you're fairly tired. That's normal. But then imagine then, if you've then got to set up for a show, play the show, and then afterwards, it's all got to be packed down, you get back onto the bus and you do a similar drive again, sometimes through the night. Now, it only takes a few days of this before you're actually feeling really tired and the excitement of larking around with your friends has gone. So you all got that friend that you love to bits, but can be a little bit irritating. Well, after a few days, even the tiniest little thing they do can really get on your nerves. And exactly the same the other way around, so vice versa. Things that you do will be getting on your friends' nerves. So you've really got to make sure you maintain your own space, your own distance from people, really just to stop you going mad, because you need to gear everything up to performing at the show at the end of the evening. And that's when you need to peak, not at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You need to be peaking at 9 o'clock at night when you're walking on stage to do the show. And this goes on day after day after day. Now, as I said a minute ago, you're going to be getting really tired, but you're not necessarily going to be turning into a lovely big double bed in a nice hotel. You're going to be sleeping in a bunk on the bus. Well, you imagine you're in a bed on a moving vehicle. Now, you have to put your feet facing the way that you're travelling in case there's an accident, and you basically sleep in really what can only be described as a coffin with a curtain. It is literally only this far above your head, it's slightly wider than your body, and then you have a curtain. And if you're on the bottom bunk, you actually have to roll in off the coach floor into the bunk. That's how you get in. All your stuff is in there. So you'll have, you know, your iPad, you've got a socket, you can charge things up, you have your wash bag, they're all round by your feet, and you literally can either turn like this, or like this. Plus, you're driving along at 55 miles an hour on the motorway, and you hear and you're trying to sleep. Now, it's not easy. After a few days you get used to the motion, and it actually feels quite comforting because you feel you're okay, it's your little space. But then you know what it's like when you go on these trips. Someone will suddenly start going now, that I snore a bit, but there are people I've talked with who snore louder than you could ever imagine, and you can hear them, and it becomes so annoying, and you can't sleep. You put your headphones on, and I have the big headphones, not the little ones that go in your ear, so of course I can't turn on my side because it's uncomfortable. So then the morning comes, and you get up, and that poor person who was snoring, who has no recollection of it, is now, you don't want to speak to him because he's kept you awake all night. But he's had a great night's sleep. So it causes resentment again. And then you'll get someone who's messy and's leaving their shoes out and leaving this out. So you have what's called a junk bunk, which is a bunk that no one sleeps in, that you put stuff and bags in to keep them out of the way, because you need to keep the corridors clear. But of course there's always someone who loses their shoes, loses this, loses that, loses their passport. Where was it the last time you saw it? You know, all of that sort of stuff goes on and on and on. Then the bus has to wait while we frantically try and find out whether we've got to go back to the venue. So there's all of these things that people call idiot checks, where you're checking everything, checking it again, someone else goes in to check to make sure you've got everything. Because once you've gone, you don't want to come back to the venue, you want to go. And of course all this is happening at 2 in the morning. Now, if you're travelling around England, after midnight at the service station, what tends to happen is they have a very limited service in the canteen type facilities. So McDonald's, Burger King, those things are normally closed. You normally have a Starbucks open that does reheated paninis and bread that's some sort of exotic bread that's £7 a slice with some weird jam on it that you don't want at that time of the morning. These things go on and you can't get anything to eat, because you may not have been able to eat at the venue because you didn't want to eat before the show. So you've got to plan every single step of the way to ensure that you keep healthy, both physically and mentally, because all that matters is the show. Now,
quite often tours go 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It's very, very draining. And then you might have a friend come to see you at one of the shows, or a couple of people fly out to one of the shows. And they always say to me when I've had people come over to see me, "Are you all right?" Something like, "No." And I'm absolutely fine. It's just I'm in a completely different headspace at that point, because it's almost sort of like a survival technique. You've got to get through this. Because you're now living in a box, really, trying to avoid people. And just getting on with them when you need to, because you don't want the band to break up, you don't want to fall out with people. And then of course, what happens to keep you entertained? Practical joke time, which can be hilarious, and you can end up spending all day long trying to concoct the most amazing practical joke that you can possibly think of, which normally involves remote controlled fart machines and things of that nature. But then after a few weeks, normally you get a bit tired of that, because it becomes a bit juvenile and you're just trying to survive. But then you'd think, wouldn't you? You're on your way home. You arrive back in England, you're driving to wherever the bus is dropping you off. You think, great, I'm going home. You think you'd be pleased. You are. 2 days later, you're thinking, you've been at home, right, where's the next show? I want to go out again. So it's great, it's fun, it's not as glamorous as you think, but get out and do it, you'll love it. And I'll see you next week.
Hold on to your hats, because now, in our musical section, we've got the Rainbow Gang, featuring Little Rosie.
Why are there so many
songs about rainbows?
And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide.
So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see.
Someday we'll find the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star?
Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far.
What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see?
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know that it's probably magic.
Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? I heard them calling my name.
Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be.
Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da da dee da da dum, la da 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 dee da da dum.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
What's on the other side? Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side?
That was really beautiful. Well done.
What with VE Day and all, it seems appropriate to end this section with Lee McDonald singing We'll Meet Again. This happened last Thursday just outside Fairycroft House.
We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Well done, Mom! Keep smiling through, just like you always do. Skies chase the virus far away. And will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as I saw you go, you were singing this song. We'll meet again. I don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. A little bit of a dance now, I reckon. We'll meet again, don't know where. And then a big finish at the end. For the big finish. Oh, we'll meet again some sunny day. Brilliant, brilliant. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies chase the virus far away. And will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as I saw you go, you were singing the song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Woohoo! Ladies and gentlemen, you've just been brilliant! What a cool, cool place! This bar is so cool!
That's all for this episode. Now remember to send in all your videos, animation, music, gaming, whatever you fancy. Just please send them in to info@creativewalden.co.uk. Now I can see you sitting there. Shall I? Shan't I? Of course you should. Come and join the party that everyone's invited to. It's Lockdown TV. Now remember to film them landscape that way around so we get rid of those nasty black bars. So look after your loved ones and we'll see you next episode on Lockdown TV.